Hi everyone. Today we'll be creating a Spring Boot application which can be used as a standalone application. In order to make it easy and so that you can follow, I have created a small step-by-step representation so that you can follow parallelly. So let's get started. This is purely a practical session, so you just follow the document that I have shown here. In order to start the Spring Boot standalone application, the prerequisites that I expect to have for this session is Java 1.7 a minimum. It's okay if you have Java 1.8, and we need Maven installed in your Eclipse and on your desktop, and we need any kind of IDE. I'm using Spring Source Toolsuite. You can also use a standard Eclipse version with a Maven plugin installed. So assuming that you have these prerequisites of Java, Maven, and STS, let's get started in creating a standalone application using a Spring Boot. In this tutorial, we'll create a Spring Boot application and also run it. Let us first start the steps now. Let us open the STS and create a brand new workspace. I have my STS already installed. Just double click the STS. We will get a pop-up where we can select a workspace. I'm selecting a new workspace so that both of us can see the same screen when you are running parallelly. So I have provided any folder location. It can be any of your folders. You can put it in C drive or a D drive or any folder that you want to point, and just do an OK. Then it takes some time to boot up the Spring Toolsuite. So this is the first screen that you see when this Spring workspace is booted up. Let us close the dashboard and the outline so that I get good enough space to work on. So let us go back to our tutorial points here. So we have opened an STS and created a new workspace. As soon as we create, let us check whether the workbench preference is set to Java 7 or 8. So in order to do that, just go onto the Windows Preferences and go under the tab Java and look for installed JRE. So you can see that JRE 7 by default is selected. We would need JDK, so click it, remove the JRE and add the Java JDK that you have installed. We just need to add the home. I have installed it in the C drive program files. Most of us should have it in the same location. So you can go onto the C drive. Basically, in your C drive, look for a folder called program files. Under the program files, you should be having a folder called Java and look for the JDK 1.7. I have a couple of them, but you can select JDK 1.7. That's it. That is the Java home. Just do an OK. The IDE will automatically identify the JRE and this do a finish. And make sure you select the JDK so that any project that we create uses this installed JRE. And let us do an OK. So we have our workspace ready and we have updated the SDK to 1.7. So we have created the second step now and completed it. Now let us start creating a new Maven project. Let us use a quick start archetype so that it creates a jar project. This is a standalone application, so we are creating a jar project out of it. So this is how we do it. Just go under the file, new project. After clicking the project, in the wizards, you can type in Maven. So click the Maven project. Select the Maven project and do a next. Keep the default values and do a next, and then select the quick start. This is the archetype I was talking about. Then do a next. The group ID is like the project structure. It can be anything. So I will just keep com.tutorials. Artifact ID, I see it as a project name. So give any project name. We are doing a Spring Boot, so Spring Boot standalone application. And just do a finish. So we have created a new Maven project and it's of type jar. Now let us convert this Maven project into a Spring Boot or Spring Boot feature should be incorporated into this project. We can do this by just adding a parent in our in our Maven project. Open your pom.xml. You I'm going on to ignore that error message. So you will be loaded with an overview. Go onto the pom.xml and there is preloaded stuff in this. Just start typing in your parent. So you can type it anywhere. Let me put it at the bottom so that we can distinguish. After the dependencies, I am putting a parent tag here. This is the default Spring Boot that has been provided by the Spring framework. So it just reads in a way like parent, group ID, artifact ID, and version. You can put a latest version of the Spring Boot if you find it. So for now, I'm using 1.4.4 release. So this particular parent tag that we put helps the application to be loaded up with the Spring functionality or Spring framework. So this parent brings in a lot of functionalities. Among all the functionalities, let us add a starter dependency which will help us to run a project, run an application as a standalone. So we need not provide any version because the version is already provided. So just copy the dependency and you can paste the part in the dependency section. So we have added Spring Boot starter. This is the main of everything. So what we have done, creating the Maven project. Inside the Maven project, we have provided a Spring Boot parent pom link, and then out of the parent, we have extracted or we are using the Spring Boot starter dependency. So that's all with the setup. We are done with the setup and our application is ready. Now let us create a person bean, a simple bean. Any class is a bean in the Spring world. So let us create a simple bean, provide a default method, some kind of method, and use a client class to consume it. Let us get started. In the src main, uh, you can create in the same package or you can create a new package. I would say I will create on the default package. So src main, I am going to create a class that's called as in the person bean. Bean, I'm just writing it for reference so that we can easily identify it. And in order to convert any class as a bean, we have to provide an annotation called component. In the Spring, stereotype component is used. So just do a control space. You should be automatically uh, downloading the or importing the jar. Okay, we have not yet built the project, so that's the reason we see an error here. You can see that we have two projects not up to date in Java. Let us do this. Quick fix. Let us fix the error. If you do not get any error, so it should be fine. So it just says import the run. Let us also fix the other project. If you have this project, do it. Otherwise, you can ignore these two steps. So it will build the project. These all errors generally go away when we run a project. So we are good now. So we have created a class person bean, and that component should see it as a stereotype, and we are good to go. Let us create a small method so that we can call this method using the main method, public void get person details. It is a simple method, and let us try to print something if this method is called, so that we'll see the practical results out of it. This is only a test for person details. You can put anything out there. So we are ready with the project, and we are also ready with the bean. Now it's the time to create a client class where we can run the project. So just it's even a main class is a normal class. So create a main class. Just say it as person main or main client, or person client should be fine. This is a normal client class. So in order to make this as a Spring application, or in order to run it as a main application, we need to annotate this class with Spring application, Spring Boot application. Controls, I'm using control space so that it imports automatically. So this is powered now by the Spring Boot application. And now let us create a main method. You type in main and do a control space. It should queue main method and do an enter. So now let us load the application context and get the bean out of it. So we can get the application context, application context. You can do a control space. I got the spelling wrong, sorry. Do a control space. It's an interface. Do a control space. Application context is equal to Spring application. You can do that Spring application dot run source and arguments. These are the default arguments. In the source, we have to provide the class name dot class. Args would be same. So this particular line would load the Spring Boot and will get the application context for us. So from the application context, we can get the bean, get bean. You can type in which bean you want to type in. So we have person bean, do a person bean dot class. That should get the class for you. Just do an enter. And you need not typecast anything because we have used the get bean option of the Spring. So I'll just use the variable name as person. So we got the person. Now we can just call the person dot get person details, and now we are ready with the main class as well. You can run this main class as a Java application, or you can see that the Maven project is loaded as boot. You can just do a right click, run as Spring Boot app. It'll ask all the boot app applications available with us. Select your client and do an OK. Then we can see that in the console, you can see the Spring Boot that is getting loaded, and you can see that this is only a test for Spring details. We can see that this person has been loaded and this method is called by the application context. So in short, we have created a brand new jar project, loaded up with the Spring Boot, and in order to run as a standalone application, we used a Spring Boot starter, created a sample class and an application context kind of thing, which is the main class, and we have run it as a Spring Boot. Yep. And that leads to the conclusion of this tutorial. Thanks for watching Spring Boot creating a standalone application. Thank you.